I'm super happy. I'm grateful every single day. Like I wake up and I look around and I'm like, things aren't ideal right now and I don't really know what the future holds anymore. I don't think anyone really does. But I am still very happy for the journey that I've been on, and I'm really, really happy for where I'm at right now, especially right now in my life.
Hello friends, Jessica and Endy here today practicing community and social distancing. We are starting a new series, really a new era here at Avanti, where we want to dive in deep and focus on telling stories of transformation, hope, and inspiration. And I thought, who better to start with than one of my amazing teammates, Endy. So Endy, why don't you start by telling me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, hey everyone. A little bit about me. I am originally from Texas. I'm not a Oregon native. I am 27 years old. I have a multitude of hobbies that I like to do. I'm doing the I Am Avanti podcast as well. If you haven't had a chance to listen to that, please check it out. I also have another podcast that I've been doing with my friends for the last 4 or 5 years called We're Queer. It's Houston-based, and it's kind of community based as far as like the LGBT community. I'm a part of that community too, and I pole dance, and I just started knitting, and I'm learning how to crochet. So I do a lot of different things. I like to stay busy for the most part. It just helps me focus on several different things at once. I feel like, I don't know why that is. I'm just a multitasker. What else? My favorite color is purple.
That's awesome. I completely forgot you pole dance. Tell me about that. How does that feel? What does it do for you? I've heard so many things about pole dancing.
Yeah, it's painful. It hurts. It doesn't feel good to do it. To get moves down, but the process is really painful. I've always wanted to do it, and it was so funny. When I moved to Portland, I was like, no matter where I live, I want a pole in my house because I've always wanted to do it, and it's a great workout, and I feel like I'm strong enough to do it. And I had a friend who is a dancer. She's been dancing for like 8 years, and she was like, my roommate's moving out and I have this extra pole, do you want it? And I was like, yeah. So I had it at my old house back when I lived with multiple people, and I couldn't really utilize it as much, so I didn't really get a chance to really do it as often as I wanted to because I lived with multiple people and there was like animals everywhere and stuff everywhere, so it was really hard to just play out and just kick my legs everywhere. But now that I have my own apartment with my partner, I have the pole here, and I've been doing it practically every day since I've been in quarantine, just because it's I have time to now. It's a lot of fun. I feel really good when I do it. It's the most active thing I do as far as exercising is concerned. I do that and I do yoga. It's really rewarding, and I feel good when I do it, and it's a lot of fun. I just put on music and just kind of trance out and jump on the pole and spin around and do all types of weird stuff. I'm getting better at it, but I could stand to look like I'm not in pain when I'm doing it. Like I'll get a move together and I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna record it, and like the whole time I'm recording I'm like trying to hold myself up, and then like I'll go on YouTube and I'll see people smiling the whole time or looking super cute and doing their little like flips and stuff, and I'm like, how do you not look like you're in pain? Because it hurts. It's just it hurts really bad, but it's great. I recommend everyone do it if you can, and if you don't want to go to a studio. I've never actually been to a studio yet. I mostly learned from YouTube and Instagram, but I definitely recommend either getting one at home or finding a studio that you feel comfortable in. There are plus and minuses to everything. It's okay to do it at home if you like stretch and everything, and you make sure that you're going slowly, because that's the hardest part, is seeing everyone do all these crazy tricks and you're like, I want to do that, but it's like you can't just jump up there because you will hurt yourself. But if you want to get it, learn it, guide it, and safely, probably working at a studio is a little bit better to have like a teacher to spot you and make sure you're actually in the correct position. Like me, whenever I get something right, I'll be like, yeah, that looks right, that feels right, but I could have my technique completely wrong. And I won't know until I actually get around a professional who's been doing it for years, who's like, no, your arms shouldn't be there, you're gonna break it or something, you know?
When it hurts, does it hurt your muscles or does it hurt to like feel the tension of the pole?
It's a little bit of both. Your muscles definitely hurt the next day, and then also just being on the pole, it has traction and everything, so it pushes your body. You can slide. If you slide down it hurts. Like you can like grip it with your thighs, and you're just holding it, and that's painful.
Yeah.
And like I have really bad calluses right now from doing it all the time, but I mean it's a lot of fun. It's worth it, I think. I'm not gonna start running anytime soon, so I'm like I have to do something to stay active.
Yeah. I've been going on daily walks, and yesterday Sean was like, do you want to go for a run? And I was like, when have I ever wanted to go for a run?
Exactly.
Do you think that would change in quarantine? It has not.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. I completely forgot you did that. How long did it take for you to be able to get up on the pole?
Honestly, a couple weeks. I have little goals of things that I wanted to try to learn how to do. So when I first started, I was like, okay, I want to learn how to spin, and I did that. And then I was like, oh, I want to learn how to climb the pole, and I did that. That was really, really hard. I had to have my friend, the one who's a dancer, come over and actually show me how to do it a couple times because I just was not getting it and I wasn't gripping myself right. And then my next goal was to invert, which is like to put my body upside down. I have that now. And my next step is to hook my knee after I invert, so then I can do other stuff upside down. And I'm working on that still. So I just have little like progression steps that I like go slowly. And like I'll see something on YouTube and I'm like, oh, I want to try that, but I have to do it like baby steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. That's super impressive.
Thanks.
Yeah. So I guess like there's just so many different ways of feeling empowered, and every time I do one of these calls I find out like a new way. And I'd always heard, I have other friends who pole dance and I've seen their posts and they just have so much joy. But you're the first person I've actually talked to who does pole dancing, so I was like, I gotta know more about it. That's so cool. So did you start pole dancing in Texas?
No, I started when I got here. I wasn't even able to find a pole or be around a pole. Actually, I'm lying. I did take a pole dance class. My friend did pole dance classes in her garage. She had 2 different poles. Me and my other friend would pay her I think like $20 an hour to be in her garage and just spin around a couple of times. So that was my first time I did pole, and I was okay at it. We didn't really do any tricks. We just kind of did like floor work and dancing and stuff. And that was cute, but I was like, I want to get up there. I want to like flip and stuff. Like I really focus on like the dancing part of pole. I'm just like, I want to do some crazy gymnastic stuff up there. Like that's my goal.
So cool.
Yeah, so I got on a couple times, but I didn't really get really, really into it until I moved here. So.
Okay. So speaking of like Texas to Portland, was it a huge culture change when you moved over to the West Coast, or are they more similar than maybe some people over here would think?
No, they're very, very different. I mean, I grew up in the South, but I grew up in Houston, so it's kind of like, it's like country meets city, but it's still, you get to certain points of Houston, you're like, oh yeah, I am in Texas, and then you'll get to the points where you're like, oh yeah, this is kind of cool. So I mean, living here compared to there, it's definitely a lot smaller than I'm used to, because I'm just used to being in the city. I'm used to being around so many more people, especially now. And then yeah, cultural wise, I think it's very different. I feel like people here are a little bit more passive aggressive than I'm used to. And I'm just used to people being like really straightforward, how they're feeling, and just knowing right off the bat. That's how I am too. Like I believe in clear communication. I'm like, yes, no, like that's it. And here, maybe, I don't know, let's see. And I'm like, no.
Yes or no, give me a yes or a no.
Exactly. So that's been different. And then also one thing that I love about being on the West Coast, and particularly about being in Oregon, is how beautiful it is here and how much people appreciate nature here. That was something that in Houston was definitely lacking, and I've always noticed ever since I was a little kid. I was just like, where are all the trees? Like, I'm just surrounded by buildings all the time. And here I'm like, where are all the buildings? I'm just surrounded by trees all the time. So, which I like, it helps you put things into perspective, and I'm happy that the cold weather is over for the most part. So, for now at least. So I'm looking forward to spring. My birthday's in spring, so hopefully I can be outside for it. That'd be great if I could actually have
Yeah. I know. I heard that social distancing is supposed to not be mandated so much in mid-May.
May? Okay.
Is your birthday in May?
It's in the beginning of June.
Oh, so it might be fine.
Yeah. But that's all right, I can do that. I can hold off for that. All right.
Right? I'm like, okay, I could do May too. I was like, I was fearing about July, and I was like, I don't know if I could stay inside until July.
Mm-hmm.
It's so far away from now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, July would be a while. I'm not a fan of that one. I'm willing to do what it takes because it is important, and just whatever it takes to blow this over and get back to normal as soon as possible. So if I had to stay in, I guess I would, but I wouldn't like it.
Me either. I miss our customers.
Yeah, I miss just having a routine that made sense to me. Like, I feel like I get up and I just kind of lollygag, and then I still wake up so early. Like, I don't really sleep in, even though I go to sleep really late. I'm still the first one to wake up, and I'm just like, well, what do I do with my day now? And I just have to find things to fill my day. So I'm just filling it with crafts, and I'm just over it. Do you want to see the scarf I'm making?
I do want to see the scarf you're making. Ooh, I like the colors.
Right? I love the colors. It's like long and rainbow. It's like the longest project I've done. I'm using 2 different yarns. I started off with this blue yarn and ran out of it, and then I switched to this one. I am so in love with this yarn. I want like 5 more rolls of it. It's my favorite.
Yeah.
So I've been working on that since March. So hopefully by the time quarantine's over, I'll have a brand new rainbow scarf. So
yeah, oh, it's awesome. It matches your ear jewelry.
Yeah, it does. I'm really excited to wear it. Even though by the time I get done with it, it'll probably be spring and it'll be way too hot for me to wear a scarf. But whenever it gets cold again, I'll have it.
Sit in front of the fan and wear it like, okay, this is fine.
Exactly.
It can sometimes get chilly in the studio actually during summer, so maybe you could wear it there.
Cute. Yeah, I would love to rock it at work. I'm so excited to finish it one day.
So I guess when I've actually interviewed a couple people who've transplanted here from other states, and what brought you to the decision to move so far away from home?
Well, I've always wanted to leave Texas. I never wanted to stay. Even like when I was in high school, people were like, oh, what are your plans? And I'm like, I don't know about college, but I know I want to get the hell out of here. And like, whatever that means, by whatever means necessary. And I had, several different plans with other friends that kind of fell through about me moving places. And it was mostly due to like fear, or I'd like tell my mom about it and be like, hey, I'm thinking about moving to Arizona. And she'd be like, no. And so I'd be like, you're right, I'm poor. Let me just stay here with you and live rent free. And then eventually I had a really good friend who were friends with each other for like 3 years. And he moved to Portland, and he was like, I would love if you moved with me or came up here with me. We could do this thing together. We can have our own apartment, whatever. And I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And of course, when I moved here, that whole friendship fell apart. So we're no longer friends, but I'm still here. But yeah, I've just always wanted to see more, and I didn't want to end up in the same place that I started. It just it didn't feel right for me. And I just wanted to get out of Texas. I love where I'm from, but at the same time, there are a lot of things that could be better. Even now, like, I've been keeping up with the updates of how it's going in Houston and with the outbreak and everything, and it's just like, it's just not right, you know? There's just a really big, there's a lot of changes that could be made in Texas and Houston in general, especially with the population and everything else. I just feel like they don't handle crisis very well. And I was tired of dealing with that, tired of dealing with flooding, tired of dealing with, you know, overpopulation and crime and all the other stuff. I was just done. So I was like, I gotta get out of here.
Time for a change. If you think back to when you were 6, did you ever think that you would be working in a piercing studio, pole dancing, and living in Oregon?
When I was 6, what did I want to do when I was 6? I think I wanted to be like a vet, or like the female Steve Irwin. I think I wanted to be like an animal explorer traveling the world. So no, I did not think I was going to do it. I was supposed to be in the jungle or something, like taking photos of butterflies or something. Like, I was really, really, really into animals. I still am, but like when I was younger, that was like my passion. I had like all the little zoo books with like different anatomies of animals and stuff, and I was so into that stuff. So no, I let myself down. Sorry, little Indy.
Well, are you happy with where you've ended up?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm super happy. I'm grateful every single day. Like, I wake up and I look around and I'm like, you know, things aren't ideal right now, and I don't really know what the future holds anymore. I don't think anyone really does. But I am still very happy for the journey that I've been on, and I'm really, really happy for where I'm at right now, especially right now in my life. Like, this is probably the best time for me that I've had in a really long time, as far as the environment I'm in, and then like, you know, my own space-wise, and having the freedom to actually do whatever I want to do. That was something that I felt like was really lacking for me back home, just because I lived with my mom for most of my adult life until I moved out here, and then B, just like having family and stuff around, and just being somewhat different was always kind of difficult when you have people that are so in such proximity to you that can judge you harshly. So, you know, growing up and then also moving away kind of made me be like, you know, I'm just gonna do whatever I want and not really worried about what everyone else thinks, because I'm in control of my own life. And as long as I like myself and what I'm doing, who cares what other people think about it? So
that's awesome. I mean, I didn't make such a dramatic move, but I definitely had very similar experiences. I grew up, you know, homeschooled in the middle of the woods, where there's like the closest town is a half an hour away, and the closest town with like a mall is like an hour away. And then moving here to the city, actually working in the city, was just a completely 180 from where I was in my little bubble. It's a very growing experience.
Mm-hmm.
Would you recommend it to anyone who's thinking, I guess, what advice would you give to anyone who's kind of thinking about going out on their own or making their own person?
I say definitely do it, but definitely plan things out. Just because I know in the movies they make it seem like it's so easy to just be spontaneous, and you just get in your car and drive, and all of a sudden you live in New York in a like loft. Like, where are they getting those New York lofts from? Save money for sure, and then save a little bit more, because you never know what's gonna happen. And then I say, whenever you leave home, make sure you leave on a good foot. Just because, one, you never know if you have to go back. You don't want to go back to a place with a bunch of enemies. Two, you don't know if you're going to have to, you know, get your old shitty job back or anything like that, you know? So it's good to leave on a good foot. Throw yourself a party before you leave.
Yes.
I think about, you know, the last time I hung out with all my friends, we were all together, and going to like my favorite bar, and, you know, hugging everyone goodbye. Like, that was really important for me, and I'm glad I got to do that. And then don't give up. Just don't, and keep going. and stay optimistic if you can.
Yeah.
Because I think it's easy to get like a idea of what life will be like in your head and kind of strive for that, and then things happen in real life and you're like, well, that's not the way I pictured it. But if you just kind of roll with the punches anyway, and you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna go through. It's like, I'm just gonna go through whatever doors are open and available to me. You never know what side you're gonna end up on. So I say, yeah, stay optimistic no matter what.
That's
Sorry.
really nice. No, my dog is actually quiet right now, but he was barking at some neighbor dog earlier. He like here's one whine and he's like, hello? I am not a guard dog. And I'm like, you are maybe 10 pounds. You are not a guard dog of any sort.
Exactly. My dog is pretty small too, and my cat's huge now. And I was just like, so do I have a cat the size of a small dog, or a small dog the size of a big cat? I don't know anymore.
Same. My cat, my cat is now, I put him on a diet, and since I put him on a diet, I realized I've had to scoop the cat litter a lot less, and the food lasts a lot longer. I bought like an emergency bag of cat food before this all hit, because it's like, oh no, like I only have cat food for another week. I'm still using, like I just finished that other bag yesterday, and it's been like 3 weeks since I bought the new bag, and I'm like, I was really overfeeding that cat.
Yeah. It's hard to know how to feed them. Like Alicia's got an automatic feeder, and I actually recorded a video of him like trying to put his paw up the little like sheet and like scoop it down to get more food, and he was like hitting it and stuff. Oh, so funny. I was like, you don't need the extra food, you're already so big.
We're okay with that. So I guess before I wrap up this interview, I just had one more question.
Yeah.
Let me find my one more question. So, we have a lot of customers who are sitting at home and they are, curious about getting pierced. And I'm just wondering, have you thought about any piercings that you would like to get when this is all over? Or are you just like, okay?
A part of me is also just like, okay, but I still want my other nostril done. So I'm still thinking about it. I still definitely want it, but I'm also kind of like, I don't know when this will be over, and I don't know if I could afford that investment right now. Everything else going on, but we'll see. There are plenty of piercings I was still thinking about getting. Like I wanted to possibly get my belly button re-pierced, or tapered or whatever, and my nostril, and I think that's it. I think I'm gonna chill out on the piercings for a little bit, just because I don't want to get overwhelmed, because it's so easy just to be like, I want this, I want that, I want this. But yeah, I think just those two.
I hear you. I've been rephotographing all of our products, and it helps curve it a little bit, but when I was getting a bunch of emails about like different piercing questions, I was like, oh, I just want to do it. Like, I just really want to get pierced right now. It is definitely I think it just comes from being stagnant and your routine completely changing.
Yeah, I feel like I can predict by the time we reopen, we're probably going to be very, very, very busy for like the first 2 or 3 weeks. Because, I get all the questions on my Facebook. Now I see the questions every day. People seem like they really, really, really want that experience for themselves. And I say, why not get a quarantine helix?
Yes. Well, especially I think after spending so many months where you can't do, like, you can dye your hair, but it's with box dye. It's not quite the same experience, and you can't get your eyelash extensions, you can't get your nails done, you can't go get your brows done, or a piercing or a tattoo. I think there is going to be that like kind of like starved for expression, like because that's what I was feeling. Like I was actually kind of depressed before I dyed my hair, because I wasn't feeling like me, that deep need to feel more like yourself.
Yeah, no, I totally resonate with that. I haven't felt like myself in a minute. Like even getting ready for this, I was like, I don't want to put makeup on. I was like, I'm gonna be on camera, so I'll just put a little bit on. And then I started like one little thing, and I was like, okay, fine, I'll put a full face together. Like, I didn't die, you know, it wasn't that painful. But I don't know what's wrong with me, because I used to do it for fun and actually like doing it, and now I'm just like in this total comfort mode that I'm just like, do I have to put on real pants? Well, it's so bad.
I definitely have those days where I'm like, I started putting on real pants this last week. I was wearing AM PJs and PM PJs, and sometimes remembering to brush my teeth. And I was like, okay, I gotta at least brush my teeth every day. And then from there, it's felt better, but I'm at the same place with the makeup. I used to enjoy doing it, and now I'm kind of like, I don't know. It just feels like a lot of work.
Like such a chore now, because then it's like, well, where are you going?
Yeah. I can put it on, and then what?
Off with like 30 minutes, you know? It's like, okay, all that product for no reason.
I can only think about washing it off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that prevents me from doing a lot of stuff. I'm like undoing this whole thing is going to be a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Is there any last bits of advice or encouragement that you'd like to leave our audience with before we say goodbye?
Advice I'd probably leave people with is just to try, if you can, try to stay busy. If it's possible. If not, be gentle with yourself. I keep seeing all these memes. It's like, if you don't walk out of this with a new skill or whatever, you don't have to walk out of it with a new skill, but just make sure that you're doing something that keeps you at least somewhat mentally engaged or physically engaged, even if it means putting on like a song and dancing to like 1 or 2 songs and then sitting back down and putting on Netflix. Like, and if you can't do that, you know, make yourself a cup of tea and watch your Netflix, you know, do whatever you need to do. Everyone's level is different, but I think the overall message is just to be gentle with yourself, because this is a really, really hard time for everyone. And I think we're going to get through it. Maybe. I'm not sure. But so I don't want to make any promises.
That's really good advice. I agree. Just taking that like little bit of steps to do really anything, at least one thing a day that makes you feel better, and it does not have to be a progressive thing at all.
Yeah, I have some days where I wake up and I'm super active, and I have other days where I don't get off the couch, and both of those days are totally fine, and both of those days are valid.
Yeah, everything you're feeling is completely like valid. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Endy. I hope you enjoy the rest of the sunshine as much as you can.
I was thinking about probably walking to Plaid and getting some hot Cheetos or something.
Yes! Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
All right, well, I hope to see you soon in the studio talking to our guests in real life.
That'd be great.
All right, have a good day.
All right, bye.